Okay, I'll just quickly turn that round. So it's 11 minutes past 11 on the 2nd of April. I was going to try and do a live yesterday, but I didn't quite get round to it, yesterday being April Fool's Day. But then I come to realise that in these times every day seems to be Fool's Day with what's going on in the world. But anyway, a couple of things I wanted to just go over today. And as usual, before I go any further, just want to make you, just turn that around. Where are we here? Just want to make you realise that this is all entertainment, purely entertainment purposes and educational purposes. And remember caveat emptor. Hopefully you all recall caveat emptor. This one here, caveat emptor. Warning, buyer beware, or as the Romans put it, let those that be deceived be deceived. And unfortunately there's lots of deception going on as usual. So I'd like to just clarify on a few things. That's how we roll. Gift of divinity. I've been through the gift as it being gamete intrafallopian tube, meaning birth. Divinity, divine, of the vine, divinity, the wine. Liquids of life, the solution, no doubt. Because remember, everything's a solution. Gives us the value and the worth. Gives us the cost, the value and the worth. That's how that works. Unfortunately, people are getting caught into these solutions over here. The liquidity of the Admiralty, merchant banking, commercial law. And also, of course, the words. The words and the language is what's getting us into lots of trouble. And I usually like to start off with a couple of quotes too, so I'll read this one to you from Alan Moore. He says, I believe that magic is art, and that art, whether that be music, writing, sculpture, or any other form, is literally magic. Art is, like magic, the science of manipulating symbols, words, or images to achieve changes in consciousness. Indeed, to cast a spell is simply to spell. To manipulate words, to change people's consciousness, and this is why I believe that an artist or writer is the closest thing in contemporary world to a shaman. Okay, that's how that works, folks. It's Alan Moore. Another one here. I think it's that way. And so it's up to the reader to decipher the code or the words based on everything they know about life and emotions. Okay, and it comes down to, of course, knowledge, which if we look up here is the knoll on the edge, a knoll being a hill, and if you're on the edge of the hill you can see farther, as I've gone through before in some of my other videos. For entertainment purposes only. Okay, intuition. It's all about learning the lesson to earn. You've got to earn the lesson. And that's to each and their own. To own that in the now. See the letters if you respell it. And then we've won, you see. Then we're one. That's how that works. That's how that works. And it's all, for me, I've got to be able to put things in writing, because that helps me to dispel them, you see. And then I can de-sign them, de-script them, and de-cipher them. And this is what we've got to learn to do, because this is all spelling, folks. Okay? It's all about magic, about changing your consciousness, controlling your perceptions and your perspectives, which is an aspect. It's an aspect, your perspective, and you've got to have respect, because you end up being a spectator otherwise. And you've got to action. We know the ION is ions, which is energy, and that's your quest, because you're energy and you're on a quest. That's why you've got a question, you see. And then you're as king, because you're asking questions, you're seeking knowledge. Or queens, of course. That's how that works. And so knowledge. Knowledge is to each, and the lessons to earn, and that's putting less on. It's putting less on your plate, as I've explained before, because I'm actually giving you more information for you to intuit. If you're into it or not, it's up to you. But the more information you have, the higher on the rung of the ladder, of the knoll, on the edge of things, to be able to see farther. Okay, that's how that works. Okay, so sow seeds, that's what we do. So there's lots of deceptions being going on in our media, and what's going on around this world. So there's lots of people out there that are, you know, practicing, well, not really practicing what they preach, and this kind of goes a little bit to that. This is Zero Dean from zerodean.com. The results of your actions speak louder than words. Although, let's not forget that words are the first concept of vibration, coming into vibration, into frequency. I'll show you how that works, because it's all about the frequency and the vibration. Actually, where did I have that? I'm not sure I had that one, but vibration and frequency comes into your intuition, as part of your intuition, to be able to intuit things. And to be into it is what you're interested in. And so, the results of your actions speak louder than words. So you can read 1 million motivational sayings to pump yourself up, or echo them to others until you're blue in the face. But that won't change anything unless you take action and consistently change your behaviour. And behaviour is part of your thinking, folks. Okay? Like, there's lots of people out there seeking sovereignty and common law and justice and all this sort of stuff. It starts in your mind, because if you don't mind, it won't matter. That's how that works. So don't just read it or preach it and expect it to make a difference in your life. Knowing something is not enough. Knowing what you should do is not enough. You have to use what you know and take action. This is the do, and just do it. Okay? So that's how that works, folks. And unfortunately, as I say, a lot of us are being spellbound by these words and the deception of the language, because it creates your consciousness. It molds your consciousness. And if you can't comprehend things, then you won't fully understand what's going on. And there's another word too, to understand. People in the common law sovereign movement get a bit anxious about using some words, understand being one of them. Understand simply is to stand under, of course. We know this from again, the spelling of the words, understand, okay? It comes from the old Roman days when they were building a structure, and they would get down to the ground and they would stand under the framework of that which they were going to place things upon to ensure that it was going to be safe. Okay, they would stand under it. So when an officer pulls you over in your walker out on the seas of commerce, as they would like you to be, they get you into, they want you to understand things. Okay, now that in that context, understanding things, you don't want to understand, and you can't actually understand anything that they're saying, because they are operating from this book here, the book of the law, or their law actually, which is, in actual fact, it's not law at all, as I've explained before. It's rules, regulations, acts, statutes, bills, and legislation, okay? And that's enforced, by the authorities, because they are the authors of all these writs. All these writs, they are the authors of them. And these are the policies, and so they need people to force you into those policies. And they, of course, use the fear and intimidation. That's how they operate. And this is all predisposed upon your ignorance, folks. Okay, they operate via your ignorance, because they when you don't comprehend and when you don't understand, this is where it gets you. But when you fully understand things, and there are certain things you do want to understand, okay, and that's part of that doing again, is expanding your own knowledge base. And once you expand things, you do understand things more. Okay, so understanding, again, like all English, it's duplicit in its nature. It's known as an equivocal language. Equivocable. You know, if something is unequivocable, it's very clear, very precise, and very detailed. When something is equivocal, it's very clear. When something is unequivocal, it is very clear and precise. When something is equivocal, which the English language is known as an equivocal language, it's duplicit in its nature. It's unclear, it's vague. Okay? So this is what we're dealing with. This is what we've been given, a form of communication that has built into it, anxiety, deception, division, by design, folks. But once you start to understand that, once you start to comprehend that, then you too will be able to see and learn to design, despell, decipher, and descript these codes. Because this is all it is. It's symbolic. These are sigils. They're characters. They're caricatures. They're there to be deciphered. But if you don't know how to decipher and descript, then you'll get caught into the lull, and then you'll be dead in the water, and you'll be operating in the Lucifer. You see, the lull. The lull is when there's no wind, there's no air. See, we need air to create sound. Okay? Air is the breath, which is the breath is birth. The words are all in there. The breath is the birth. It's the art at the heart of the hearth, with the ear, with the heat, with the being. See, all those interpretations and sects of information are there for you to decipher. Once you can comprehend it, that what's going on here is through the words. It is a state of mind control. You know, and that's a state of mind, which is your consciousness, which again is determined by your amount of knowledge, your knowing, your intuition. Okay, that's how that works. And so there's lots of misunderstandings about what's going on. And there's lots of, people are waking up exponentially. We live in truly exciting times, folks. These are magical times. These are the times of the deciphering of the words, of the codes, of the system. It's falling apart. The veils of deception are dissolving, folks. It's a beautiful thing. It's not so much that they're dissolving, but your consciousness is rising. Okay, your ability to be able to comprehend and understand and overstand. And that's getting back to the land, you see, because you can only stand on the land. And that's again the earth, which is your breath, which is all around you. You see how that works? That's how that works. I should say g'day. See if a few of you here. G'day, how you doing, folks? I'll spin this round. How you doing? Who we got there? G'day Wayne. G'day Michelle. Back to Kay. How you doing? Tupo Torea. Thank you very much, Lady of Light out there. Helping so many sovereigns on their way and on the path. It's very, very important. Much needed in these times, and we do what we can. We do what we can and we be aware, because it's just how it is, folks, isn't it? Because more and more people are starting to wake up and comprehend what's going on. We know, folks. We know what's going on. Okay? We know what's going on. It's all about the comprehension of things, understandings, and raising our own levels to garner higher realms of perception and understanding and overstanding and understanding. It's all about the knowledge. And it goes back a long way, folks. I mean, it goes back a long way. Unfortunately, they've got us all bound up into this book of the law. These are the writs that they have authored that they try and get us into. But we already know. We already know the true book of the law. The true book of the law, folks. You know, it's in here. See, this is why ignorance of the law is no excuse, folks. Ignorance of the law is no excuse, because in the old days everyone had a Bible in their home, and in the front of their Bible was the ancestry. The ancestry was recorded in the Bible. It was recorded. It's a beautiful word, that record. It's a beautiful word, that record. And so ignorance of the law is no excuse, folks. It's not this law here. It's the law of the Bible, folks. Because that's how it was. Because the laws are simple. Then there's only 3 of them. Well, there's really only one, in fact, I would posture. And that is, do not deceive. And that means yourself, others. And don't be deceived, you know. And so that means you've got to be vigilant. You've got to be vigilant about things and start asking why, folks. Okay? And that sometimes takes a bit of conviction, doesn't it? You don't want to be a convict, but they want you to have conviction. Okay? And that's, you know, that's deception. The other 3, of course, you want to put them to 3 is don't kill, don't steal, and do not deceive, is generally the 3 of them, of course, all under your common law. See, they're very, 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 very tricky, with the words, because, you know, they've colonised us, haven't they? I see this word a little bit lately, it came to me. Colonise. What's the colon? They colonise us, don't they? We've been colonised. What's the colon, folks? The colon turns good food to shit. That's what it does. And so when they tell you that they've colonised the Pacific, that's an interesting word too. Because you can add action on the end of that, and you get... You see how that works? Pacification. They've colonised and pacified you. Those Polynesians, poly meaning many, Nesians are island. See, that's what they've done. That's what they do. They tell you exactly what they're doing to you, folks. They've got to. It's called caveat emptor. Button there, don't know what happened there. So that's what's going on. You know, again, they're telling you exactly what's going on. But once you have that understanding, and once you have that comprehension, then you can start to decipher what's going on here. And they've authored the trust, and this is the original trust, you know. They get us into trusts. This is the original trust, folks. That's the original trust there. The mind, the body, and the soul. The I, the me, the my. The administrator, the trustee, and the beneficiary. See, that's how that works. It's always a triune. The I, me, my. The Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost, Tammuz, Isis, Horus. You know, you name them. They're all there. Vishnu. What is it? Vishnu. I always forget these. Vishnu, Brahma. There's Vishnu, Brahma, and Shiva. And God. Generator, operator, destroyer. DOD. God. Or you can, you know, it's a gift of divinity. It's divineness within your godliness. You are gods. You are creators. You do carry the gift. And every single one of them is an aspect. Is an aspect of the godliness of everything that is. And it's evolving, folks. See, now here's the other thing that gets a lot of people stuck, is looking for the solution. You know, everyone's looking for the solution for things. We've got to realise that the solution is not constant, okay? It's evolving. It's evolving and growing, and it's way bigger than anything that we will truly be able to comprehend while in this realm, I do believe. But it's expanding exponentially, and it's bigger than we can ever even comprehend or conceive. And all of the seemingly negativity and you know, the anxiety and the fear that's being created out there, please realise that you've got to till the ground to plant the seeds to make the veggies grow that feed the people. You know, the earth must be tilled. It must be tilled. That's why the Adama, according to that book, actually, were created to till the earth. Sounds like a bit of a slave, actually, doesn't it? But you see, we got, because, I'll tell you, here's another thing too. You see, when Cain, killed Abel, you see, when Cain killed Abel, we become disabled, you see. We become disabled. That's where the disabled comes from, you see. We got disabled, and that's why you need a cane. The people who are disabled, they need a cane, you see. And that's the caneable. Then you're caneable, you see. You see how that works? You see how that spell is in there? You see how that conveyance of information is right there? Because again, it's caveat emptor, folks. They've got to tell you what they're doing to you. And they do. And they have, and they will continue to. That is what they do. They have to tell you what they're doing to you, folks. Because, you know, if I tell you I'm coming round to your house and I'm going to eat all the food in your fridge and I'm going to put on your best clothes, I'm going to park up on your couch and watch your TV, and then I'm going to put your TV and your stereo in the car and I'm going to drive away with it, and I use all sorts of lovely flowery language and you don't quite comprehend what's going on, and this is what's happening. People say, well, I don't understand how the government can do that. That's because they've told you what they're going to do to you, folks. They've got to. They've got to. It's just part of it. See, the caveat emptor. It's the buyer beware. If I tell you that my lemons are the most loveliest oranges in the world, and you buy them and you walk down, go home and eat one and find out it's very sour, you know, that's how it works, folks. It's up to you. It's up to you to take the steps and action. You know, knowledge is power. Sure, knowledge is power. But it's no good, you know, sitting in your rooms and not doing anything with your knowledge. You've got to exercise that knowledge. It's like a muscle. It is like a muscle, and it's got to be exercised. Otherwise it falls into entropy and dies off. And that's what's happening with a lot of people's freedoms. They're dying off because they're not comprehending what's going on, and they're not being able to stand up and raise their voices and act upon what they know intuitively. Here's another thing too. Intuition's a beautiful thing. You intuit things, man. You got to be into it, don't you? That's what we say. Well, where are we? Oh no, it wasn't that one. It was this one over here, I think. I had that somewhere. Yeah, intuition, folks. Inherently. When you don't know how you know, but you know you know. And you know you knew, and that's all you need to know. And it's inherent, which is a beautiful word, because it's in here. Into. See? Inherent it. And that's your heart, folks. So that's how that rolls. So you can have a bit of intuition. And that's why they call study and learning intuition, or tuition. That's why it's called that, folks. That's what they do. Oh, yeah, I've got a couple of slides here. It leaves me bored. Okay, another thing I just wanted to put you onto here. Connecting consciousness. Again, you know, words create consciousness. Frame. They frame and they form. They inform and they frame us. You see, that's what they do. They give us information to get us information, and they get you to fill in the form. So you're informed, you see. That's how that works. See, and then they anchor. They anchor the knowledge. They anchor the knowledge within you through the news anchors. The news casters, because they're casters, again, they're the casters of spells. They're telling you what they're doing. Hi, if anyone's here who hasn't been here before, this is my smorgasbord of truth, because there's more gas on this board of truth, you see. It's all about casting the spells, and we're learning to dispel in the form of the codes, to dispel the codes, to de-sign, to de-script, and to de-cipher, to get us out of this, the lull in the water where there's no sound, because sound is wind. Oh, that was the point I didn't finish before, which is air, which gives us vibration, which vibrates our vocal cords, and we get vocal, and then we're in accordance, and we can attune, we can be at one in attunement, and that's music to the ears, isn't it? And then we can record things, and we can, you know, on a record, there's a record of things, and we can record things, and that gives us motion, which is energy and movement and motion, which gives us light, because it's enlightenment, because power and vibration is enlightenment. Knowledge is enlightenment. Enlightenment is to have a spark, and that's the arc. See, that's the arc of what's going on here, the arc of the covenant. See, that's it. But what they do is they invoice you. See, they invoice you, and then you be ill. And that stifles your voice and stifles your power. But you want to be in charge, but you don't want to be charged, okay? Because they'll charge you, and you think it's fine when they give you a ticket. And then you've been doctored, so they get you in the bar, and you like the bar too, don't you? But then you've been caught, you see. And you don't tempt the con, there's contempt there somewhere, because you get caught. And it's straight out magic, because it's the magistrate sitting on the bench who works for the bank, and he summons the dead, ranting about war, wants to give you a rest, but gives you conviction. And we all think we want to have conviction. Well, you do in some ways. But that's how that works. See, they are through this code telling you exactly what's going on, folks. So, you know, I know what the press does. They impress, they express, they repress, and they depress. But I can't impress enough to you the power that is held within comprehending and deciphering this stuff, because then you will truly hear and be here and have a hearing about what they are telling you they are doing. And see, yeah, I won't go there. But telling, it's very telling, isn't it? If someone's telling you something, folks, then be very wary. Okay? If they're showing you something, or if they're relaying something. But if someone's telling you something, telling is very close to the spelling, the telling, so, and that's very telling, as they say. And then you're told, you see, then you're told, because you're hardened in your ways. You're long in the tooth, you see. And you can't quite digest the food that's on the table of the thoughts, because they can be incomprehensible. And it's all food for thought, isn't it? So yeah. So say great risings instead of good morning. This one is. The word morning comes from the word mourn. Mourning, which is not something we want to be doing. Consciously speaking is important, since many words in English have multiple meanings. Okay, so we've been told this. We've been told these things. The Book of Spells. Here's the Book of Spells, folks. That's the Book of Spells there. And it's a book. They book you and they bind you. They bind you and they charge you. You see? And they give you a document. They document your mind. They put you in the dock. Your mind in the dock as they summons the dead, and you raise your hand into the position of the trustee. Okay, and again, the trustee, three parts of the trust: the beneficiary, the trustee, and the administrator. Okay, you want to remain the beneficiary of the trust. It's funny how the governments have desecrated that word amongst us, and they call it welfare. Farewell, my friend. See, the well is in the water again, the solution. That's how they. Once you start to comprehend what's going on here, folks, the connections and the obviousness of what's going on becomes absolutely astounding, and you can't help but not see with your little vessels. And then you'll feel well. You'll feel welcome, won't you? And you go, well done, because you've been done well. That's what they do. Ink well. Ink is with a pen. When you open, that's what they do. They get you with the pen. They put you in a pen. A pen is a cell. You're made of blood. It's a blood cell. Penance. And then you've got to pay penance in the blood cell when you're in the blood cell. That's how it works, folks. Anyway, what's going on here? I'll just quickly flick this around and read some of your messages there. I think you might end up, not sure how long I've been going. But I hope you're all good out there. Remedy, yes, to Torio. There must be remedy within the law. There is. There's always remedy within the law. His story, it's a story, alright? How shadow band much? How is it that not many are on your lives? This is what we should be learning. Yeah, I don't quite get that too. I don't think there's definitely something going on there, but that's alright, you know. It is what it is. It is what it is. Actually, I always forget to kind of promote myself, if you like. I'm not really into self-promotion. It's more about the information that I think is more vitally important to anything out there. I'm just looking for, I'll just spin that round while I'm flicking through some of these. I'll just have a look here. I should promote myself a bit more. So, where are we here? I'm here somewhere. That one. Oh, there we go. So there's me, Not the Norm YouTube channel. And if you want to find me on Facebook, I'll show you my Facebook moniker. It's Te Ariki Pauhere Urumana, and that's where you'll find me. So okay, I might just leave it there, folks. I hope you enjoyed that. Give us a thumbs up and a like and a share, as they say, and hope to see you maybe some other time soon. I try to get on as much as possible, but you know, due to life constraints and things that are going on, it is hard sometimes. But yeah, so get out there and be captains of your ship into the quest eye on. Raise your levels of consciousness through your intuition, through the lessons learned, through knowledge. If you have any questions or anything like that, fire them to me, folks. I've been doing quite a bit, actually, with regards to, I did a workshop a couple of weeks ago. I'm meeting a couple of people tonight. I'm helping out others with different contracts that they're getting bound in. So, you know, that's all about action, folks. You've got to do what you can to help others. And, you know, it's all part of our own learning processes. You know, as much as I like to each in their own, I love that. I'm also a student myself, and always will be. We can never know everything, of course, and we'll never comprehend everything, and that's some part of it. That's a beautiful thing, because keeps us going. So love and light to you all out there. Keep raising your own consciousness and your own levels of awareness, and together we'll get through this. We win. There's just no doubt about it, folks. We've already won. Thank you. Love and light to you all.